Hi everybody, it's your girl Kenya. I am coming to you with a video that I like to call Foundation Station. As you can see, I am naked. And when I say naked, I mean I have no makeup on. I've gotten a lot of requests asking me how I blend my foundation, how I what colors I use and where I put them and so on and so forth. So I just thought that I would show you guys a little bit of how I blend my foundation, what tools I use, what colors I use, and why. So if you guys are interested in finding out this information, stick around and I will show you. Now, I told you guys, mentioned to you guys in one video, I'm sorry. You guys have to excuse me. It's really late, and to be perfectly honest with you, I kind of recorded this video earlier, but when I played it back, I realized that I said I was going to show you guys how I blended my foundation, but instead I ended up giving you a lesson on color theory and the different formulas of foundation that MAC carries and that other lines carry. But it was an interesting video, so if you guys are interested in knowing about that, send me a request or put a comment down there, and I will definitely make another video about that. But anyway, I don't want to get off topic again because I want this video to be really quick, because this is actually part 1 to part 2. Part 2 is a tutorial and a review on the Venomous Villains collection by MAC. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the foundation that I just brought, the Pro Longwear foundation. I purchased these in NW45 and I'm sorry, not NC, NW50. I went, as opposed to going NW45 and NW43, I chose to do NW50 and NW45. That's because as the seasons change, my color tone changed. Excuse me guys, I also have NW43, so I kind of really got all three of them, because I never know when in the summertime I tan, in the wintertime I get paler, so depending on the season will determine which two combinations I use, but it's generally a combination of the two, with NW45 always being in the mix. This is my primary foundation is NW45. I can actually use this alone. However, using it alone will be a little too orange. So to take away some of that orange, instead of saying okay, well, you know what, I don't have yellow and red undertones, I'm not warm, let me just try a cool, which is normally what people would do, I just went higher up on the shade, and that kind of neutralized some of that undertone just a little bit, because I was using a darker shade mixed in with a lighter one. The same thing when I do NW45 and NW43. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys now with the three colors what they look like when I blend them in. Okay. Now the most important thing, you guys, when you're before you're applying foundation is of course moisturize. I cannot stress that enough, guys. The foundation to a good makeup application is definitely bright, healthy skin. You can do that again by moisturizing, exfoliating. You can use masks and scrub twice a week, and definitely drink plenty of water, which is something that I need to be doing myself, guys, because I'm such a Pepsi lover. But yeah. Okay. So now, let's start with the NW45. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, guys, but that's NW45 by itself. And if you notice, and if you look at my skin color here, is a little yellow, and that NW5 is just a little too orange. Now, being that we're getting out of the summertime, I didn't get a huge tan this summer, but we're moving into the fall and into the winter. My skin tone is going to start to change. So I'm actually using the NW45 with the NW50 as opposed to the NW43. So now I'm going to show you guys what the NW50 looks like by itself. This is what the NW50 looks like by itself. Now, if you guys notice, it's two totally different shades. This is a little more orange, and this has a little bit more maybe yellow to it, but they're definitely two different shades. I could not wear NW50 alone, and I could not wear, I would not wear NW45 alone. Now, I just want to show you guys what will happen when I mix the two. I don't know if you guys can see that, but now that's a perfect blend. And I'm going to just go up here just a little bit because I want you guys to see how I blend that into my skin. Okay, can you guys see that? Now on this side I'm going to do the NW45 and the NW43. Here's the NW45. And here's the NW43. Again, two totally different shades. But watch what happens again when I blend them. See, guys? That blends perfectly into my skin. Okay? Oh my gosh, you guys are probably like, what is that in her background? I'm not watching a horror movie. The horror movie is watching me. Anyway, so you guys, that is NW45 and NW50, and this is NW43 and NW45. Now, if you look at both sides, you'll probably say, I really can't tell the difference between the two, and that's a good thing. I can tell the difference because I know my skin tone, and live, it looks a lot different than it does behind the camera. But yes, that is the point. It's definitely supposed to blend into my skin ever so perfectly. Another key step is setting your foundation with powder. Now you can set it with a translucent powder. You can also set it with another one of MAC's foundation products, which is the mineralized skin finish, and it looks like this. I set it with this sometimes. Again, depending on the season and depending on how my skin is behaving or misbehaving will determine whether or not I use this or the translucent powder. This is just what works for me. Being a woman of color, I know that there are a lot of struggles to find the perfect foundation, especially when you have different shades to your skin. It drives you nuts. One side of your face could be dark, one side can be light, and you're like, what do I do? How do I balance them out? So I'm just kind of showing you how I balance the two out. Now let's quickly move on to concealer. Guys, I do the same thing with concealer. Again, this is just a Pro Longwear concealer that I purchased a couple days ago, and I did the same thing. NW45 and NW50. Same exact concept. I accidentally bought NW40 instead of NW43, but I have to admit I like this, and I'm going to tell you why. I showed you with the foundation, I just want to show you with the concealer. I'm not going to do the well, you know what, I am going to do the both sides, because then I'm going to show you what I mean with the NW40. Okay guys, this is the mixture of the NW40 and the NW50. Now, normally I won't use a sponge because the sponge absorbs too much of the oils, and especially for the under eye. Again, guys, the most important thing is use a under eye nourishment. That under your eyes is so thin and so sensitive. You do not want that skin to dry. You don't want it to be cracked. You want to take care of your skin. If you love your skin, it will love you back. Again, okay. Getting off topic. I have a very bad habit of doing that. Okay guys, I'm just going to zoom in for you. Now this is the NW45 and the NW50. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to use the sponge. I'm just going to use my fingers. I chopped my nails off, guys. So now I can use my fingers. A lot of times your fingers are the best tools because your fingers actually warm the product, and when the product is warm, it actually glides on a little bit better. I wouldn't recommend you using your fingers on other people's faces, but on your face, go to town. Okay guys, this is the NW45 and the NW50. If you notice, again, it just blends perfectly into my skin. There's no contrast, there's no brightening, there's no nothing. It did take away the dark circle under my eye. If you guys can see, I have a lot of light casting off, I'm sorry guys, but if you can see, it did conceal that dark circle. But what it did not do was it did not brighten my eye. Sometimes I want a little punch under my eye. There are shaping powders, sculpting powders, highlighters. There's all kinds of things you can use to actually give that effect. But by accident, I got the wrong shade of concealer, but I like it because it does exactly what I wanted to do. Now on this eye, I'm going to put that combination of NW45 and NW50 right underneath my eye. Blend that in. Blend, 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 guys. Blend, blend, blend. Another thing, before you put your foundation on, use a primer. And a primer helps because if you notice, I have some folds in my skin, and what primer does is primer gets into those folds, so when you put your foundation on, you don't have that crease. Like if I look up or look down, you'll be able to see the crease where the foundation is. Primers just help that. Primers get into all the fine lines in your skin so that your application can be a lot more flawless. Okay. Now again, if you guys notice, it just blends in perfectly. There's no kick to it. There's no nothing. It probably just looks flawless and basic. Now I want to show you guys how it looks when I just put a little bit of the NW40 over top of it. And you guys are probably like, oh my God, that's so light. But if you blend it in ever so carefully, what you get is a nice highlight. Now I don't know if you guys can actually see that. Maybe I need to zoom in closer, or maybe I need to move back a little bit, but this is the eye with just the NW50 and NW45, and this is the eye with the NW50, NW45 and NW40. Yes guys, 3 different shades. Now some of you might say, why do that when I can get that look with just one product? You can, and I'm not saying not to. I'm just telling you guys what I use and what works best for me. I find that by custom blending my products, I get the best result. Okay, if you guys can see that, maybe you can see it a little bit better. I can certainly see it from where I'm standing. This, again, this side, it just looks perfectly blended, perfectly even. This side just gives a little bit of kick, a little bit of punch underneath my eye, which gives a highlighted effect. Okay, I believe that is it for my foundation station. I hope I was somewhat informative to the young ladies who requested this. I hope that this helped you. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, make requests, anything you guys would like to see. I'm here. I'm an open book to share whatever knowledge that I have with you. I definitely believe in each one teach one. Everybody has different ways of going about things. No way is perfect. There are no rights or wrongs. So if I can share any of my knowledge with you guys, I most certainly will. Thanks again, guys. Have a good night. Sorry, stay tuned for part 2, which is the tutorial to the Venomous Villains collection. Bye, guys. Have a good night.